Recently, one of our fathers celebrated 80th birthday. That was Umar Ukpai. And the person who came for his birthday celebration was Papa Adeboye. Umar is 80. Adeboye is 80. I hope you know that Adeboye does 40 days fasting every single year with no food. Every year. He's 80. He's still on his 40 days. Any day he stops, he will tell you God's grace will stop. Because God doesn't dash power to any man. Anyone who wants to carry God, you pay the price in the secret, so God will reward you in the open. Papa Omar, I got closer to Omar in the early 80s. I was going to Bible college around 85, 86. And I answered the call. I'm 40 years as a pastor in this city, so my ministry goes way back. And that time I was in Uyo schooling, and Papa Omar's house was very close. And Papa Omar helped me to know one or two things. Number one, he talked about the tithes of your time. That any child of God who cannot give God the tithe of his time cannot rise in the spirit. What is the tithe of your time? 2 hours, 40 minutes every day. And Omar told me, I, your father, I give God a double tithe. That is 6 hours. Omar cannot step out from his house without covering 6 hours. That is his life for over 50, getting to 60 years of ministry. I learned that from him. He's the one who schooled me and challenged me. I pray 7 hours every day of my life. No single day will I never cover 7 hours, because I had a father who mentored me and tutored me that you can never see God except you're ready to pay the price. It's the same Umar. I like to go and meet him almost every year. I'm going to go to see him next week because of the encounter I just had last week. When you have encounters, look for the men who encountered you and find a way to sow into their life so they can now seal it in the physical. So last time I went to Omar asked me, are you still praying? That I, your father, I am still fasting 280 days every year. Any day I stop, God will remove his hand. A man of 80 years, he's fasting 280 days every year. You are eating 280 days every year. And you're wondering why you don't see God. You will never see God. We're talking about supernatural encounter. Supernatural encounter. For you to draw the hand of God down, it's not a joking matter. Every great general in the Bible, they pay the price. Every great general you're seeing here in the earth. I listened to Arome Osayi, he was on fasting for almost 3 years. In fact, it was 2 years and 6 months of fasting. Before one day he came back, entered his house, and 3 angels just appeared in his room. That was where he entered power ministry. That's encounter. That's encounter. Are you still there? I have a covenant partner. His name is Rev Effiong. We have been in this game. Because to us it's a game. We are playing game. That game we are playing is every January like this. Ephraim will lock himself for 30 days. He has been doing that for 33 years now. He will not come out. He will not see the face of any human being. The only person he will see is me. I'm the one who will go there. I'm coming from Akpabio. I was with him today. We prayed together for hours. I was with him yesterday. I was with him Wednesday, was Prayer City. The other day I was there. That is how I keep on driving down to Akpabio for us to pray together. And he has been on that for 33 years. When you say there is a man who is coming to speak to you, Rev Theo, he's a voice in the city. You don't become a voice, sir, anyhow. There's a price you pay in the secret. I don't know if I'm talking to somebody who wants to be a voice. I don't know if there's somebody who wants to rise here. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, we thank God for those men who went on a total 7-day fast to close an old chapter, an old book, a faulty foundation, a faulty administration, and to open a new chapter, a new book, a new order. It took a 7 days fast to do that. My own foundation took me a lot. It took me 11 years to handle, because my father was the national president of Ogboni, and my father's house was the national headquarters of Ogboni. If you don't know what is called Ogboni, every power that holds the government of Nigeria is Ogboni. My father was in charge of Ogboni, and every governor and every man who enters any place, you must come to my father and bow, and you must know how to pound brand new live babies in mortar and eat the flesh and drink the blood to enter power. My father was the man in charge. When you come from a foundation where your father is Oga in charge of Ogboni fraternity, my father was also in charge of Ekpe. Whether you talk of traditional as far as Calabar, Cross River, or you talk of national, my father was Oga in charge. And that is my foundation. And for me to be able to ascend from that foundation, brother, it wasn't eating. It took me dying in God's presence. When I was your age, I believe you are, most of you are youths I'm talking to, you are in your 20s, most of you. I think I did my first 9-day fast when I was 20, 21 years of age. 9 days, no food, only water. That same year, I did a 21-day fast, no food, only water. And then the next year, I did a 30-day fast, no food, only water. Why all of this fasting? You go and try and live in Ogboni headquarters. My father's house, that's the place we call Prayer City today. Before you see Prayer City, before you see a new foundation, a new order, somebody died. Somebody paid a price. That was the place all the sacrifices that hold Nigeria used to take place. And so for me to close that chapter and raise a new order, I have to pay a very heavy price. And I thank God today. The price is speaking. The price is speaking. When I came to Nigeria, God called me at the age of 20. I was not brought up here in Nigeria. I was brought up in London. I spent my first 18 years of my life. I was born in Calabar. My father is a Calabar man. My mother is a white woman, an English woman. That's why this pointed nose is not made in Aba, it's original. So I was born in Calabar. Before I can say Idemfo, they have taken me to London. And I spent all my schooling in London, from kindergarten, nursery school, primary school, secondary school, going to higher institution, when the hand of God came upon my life and said, leave your motherland, come to your fatherland for the healing and deliverance of your people. In those days, I had my own house. It was a duplex. I had my own car, Triumph Herald 250. I bought it with my own money. I had my own motorcycle, Kawasaki 250. I had a 10-gear racer bicycle. And God said, leave your motherland, come to your fatherland for the healing and deliverance of your people. I don't know Calabar. I was a baby when I left Calabar. I've never eaten gari before. Not to talk of draw soup. I don't know the language. I don't know the culture. And God said, leave London, come to Nigeria. I didn't argue. I sold all my properties. Within 2 weeks, I landed here in Calabar. When I came to Calabar, I said, let me take over the shoes of my father. My father was the greatest lawyer in the whole of the South. He had the largest chambers, law chambers, in the whole of Cross River, Akwa Ibom, down to Abia, down to Rivers. My father was an international lawyer that used to represent Nigeria in all the international courts. Any international case, my father will represent Nigeria. My father was one of the people who wrote the Constitution of Nigeria with Rotimi Williams. Rotimi Williams was the best man to my father when he married my mother. So when I came to Nigeria, I said, okay, seeing my father has a chambers, let me now go to study law. Let me go to University of Calabar, seeing it's one of the best law schools in Nigeria. And so I went to study law in Unical, and God came to Unical and said, I didn't call you to be a lawyer. I called you to be a deliverer to your people. So leave this place and go to Assemblies of God Bible College, Uyo. I did not argue with God. I packed all my things. The next day I was in Uyo Bible College. And I answered the call under the Assemblies of God. And the leadership of the Assemblies of God sent me to be an assistant pastor at a place called Etinian Abasi under the Reverend F.C.M. Obuji. I was 21 years of age. I became an assistant pastor to a church of about 800 members, 800 attendants. And my senior pastor said to me, Theo, I am leaving the work in your hand. Why I brought you as an assistant pastor, I am doing my degree course at Umuahia. And I will not come back except month ending. We do accounts. First Sunday, second Sunday, third Sunday, you're the one to preach. All the Bible class, you're the one to preach. Sunday school is in your hand. Who am I? Johnny just come. Born again, only 2 years. Newly arrived from United Kingdom. Spent 18 years in London. That time, if you hear me speaking, you will not hear my tonation. I used to speak like a proper Englishman. You understand what I'm talking? That is how I used to speak. When I'm speaking to you, you have to strain your ears to hear me. And that was how a church of 800 within 3 months reduced to 700, 600, 500. And my senior pastor called for a round table discussion to find out why, what is happening, what is going on. Everybody should open up and feel free to speak out your mind. What is the problem of this church? The first person to lift the hand was the choir mistress. I have noted you, choir mistress. It is well with you. The choir mistress said, Reverend, we will not hide from you. This boy you brought to us. He didn't call me pastor, boy. He's an empty container. He's a square peg in a round hole. He has nothing to offer. He has nothing to deliver. We don't even understand what he's talking. That, Reverend, if you don't want this church to scatter all, carry him, throw him anywhere you can throw him. Bring us somebody who can fit us, who we understand, who we can flow with, who will help us. Not this kind of boy. The second person that stood up was actually the husband of that woman. He said, Reverend, what my wife is saying, she has not even said even one half. It's bad. And my senior pastor stood up and collected the microphone and closed the meeting. And he said, there's no need to continue with this meeting. Me, I was so embarrassed. And the worst of all was that my mother had flown all the way from London to Nigeria to visit me as her son. And she was sitting in the front row that day and saw how her son was disgraced and humiliated and rejected. She was weeping, me, I was weeping. I couldn't even wait for them to share the benediction. I carried my bag and I ran to that time I was living in 10 by 10. I have no furniture. I have only one bed. I don't even have a fan, whether ceiling fan or standing fan, I don't have. I don't even have a wall clock. I was operating at a very low level in life, and I threw myself on the floor and I began to cry like a baby. Maybe you don't understand because you have never known what it means to leave United Kingdom and sell all your properties in obedience to God to come for a people, and the people you come for have rejected you. I wept like a baby. I wept until there was no strength, no energy left in me. I was sobbing. I said, God, where are you? You told me to leave UK. I've left UK. You told me to leave law studies. I left law studies. I have left everything. And look at what is going on here. They say I'm an empty container. They say I have nothing to offer. And then I heard the still small voice of God came to me and said, son, what they say is correct. You are an empty container. You have nothing for your generation. So I give you a choice. If you want to have a meaningful life, what you have not been doing before, because you are coming from London, and in London you don't believe in prayer, you don't believe in fasting. You believe in technology and science. But now I've come to tell you there is more than technology and science. There is me, Jehovah God. And for you to meet me, go on a 30-day fast. You will eat food once a day from 12 midnight. You must make sure in that 30-day fast, every day you must read a minimum of 20 chapters of the Bible. Read 20, 30, 40, 50 chapters every day. Spend time. Struggle to pray. I know you are coming from London, that you people cannot know how to pray, but this time you must struggle to pray. If you don't know how to pray, just roll on the floor and cry. That was how I was crying for 30 days and 30 nights. At the end of the 30 days, my senior pastor called me. Theo, come on. You're the one to preach this Sunday. I said, Reverend, I beg you. May you now preach. You do the preaching. Me, I will kneel down. I will pray for you. I will give you backup. I can't face them. You face them for me. He said, Reverend, he said, Theo, they may not like you. Me, I like you. Go and preach. When you preach, I'm the one who will kneel down and give you backup.